I've set up all the parts of the game ready to begin. Each player receives 2 heat cards. This represents how hot the eggs have been heated up so that they'll hatch at the right temperature. There is a deck of eggs here that have been shuffled, and the first 3 have been laid out ready for choice. There are 3 crystals that have been selected, with the rest being returned to the tin ready for later. The action selection card, which shows the 4 different actions a player may choose, and a set of special order cards which have been shuffled. Each player receives a worker token, and one player will receive the first player token ready to begin. Play goes as follows. First player will place their worker token on which of the 4 actions they choose to have on their turn. This player will choose the egg selection position. Second player will then choose from the remaining 3 options. They will take the crystals. So once each player has chosen their action, we work down the list and apply the action wherever there is a worker placed there. First one is to select eggs. The person who placed the token there gets first choice. This player is going to choose a silver egg for their first one. They place it on their heat card with the 0 showing to show that it has not yet been heated up to temperature. For this action, the second player may also choose an egg from one of the remaining ones here. They'll choose the gold egg and place it on their heat card with the 0 showing. We then move on to the next action. This is to choose a crystal. The player with this token gets to choose first, so they will choose the gold crystal to go with their gold egg. The other player will choose the silver crystal to go with their silver egg. No one has chosen these 2 actions, so then we move on to the next turn. We pass the first player token over to the other player, and then we continue for the next turn. We restock the eggs. We randomly choose 2 crystals to restock this supply and return the tokens to each player. Now, with this player being the first player in this turn, they'll choose an action. In this case, this player is choosing the increasing temperature action. The other player has decided to choose taking a special order. So again, we work down in order of the list on the action card. No one has chosen the first 2 actions, so we move on to this one. As the player who placed the worker here, they are able to increase the temperature by a total of 4. They can do it on either card if they have an egg on both cards here. Since they only have 1, they'll increase the temperature to 4 for this egg. The opponent also gets an action on this this placement, except they can only increase the temperature by 2. So they'll increase the temperature by 2 on this egg. We move on to the next action, and this is the worker taking a special order. They simply take the top card from the special order pile and place it to the side. They may look at it themselves, but they should not show it to the other player. In this case, the special order is to collect 2 silver eggs, and they will return 3 gold for that trouble. Now that the actions have been completed, we check to see if there are any eggs have hatched. In this case, this player has hatched a gold egg because it has the crystal and the required temperature of 4. The crystal is discarded. The egg goes into a scoring pile for that player. For the other player, they've also hatched an egg. This silver egg has a silver crystal and the required temperature of 2 for that egg. Crystal is discarded and the silver egg goes into that player's scoring pile. Return the tokens to each player and we go to another round. I've jumped ahead a few turns and we'll pick up the action from here. This player with the first play token has the first action to choose. They'll choose the crystal selection. The other player will choose the egg selection action. So we work down the list. This player has first choice. They're going to choose the gold egg. The other player, they don't have a free heat space to place their egg. You are allowed to have one egg in reserve to use at a later stage. We move on to the crystal selection. This player will choose the gold crystal. Place it on their egg here. The other player, they don't have a crystal that will match either a position on their egg that is vacant. In this case, they would need a gold crystal. They are allowed to have one crystal in reserve to use at a later stage. That concludes the actions. We again check to see if there are any eggs hatched. At this stage there are no eggs. We replace eggs from the selection there. We have 2 crystals left in the reserve. Once this reserve runs out, we may replenish it from the discarded crystals that have previously been played. Again, I have skipped ahead a few turns. Here, the first player token is over here, and they will choose the crystal action. The other player will choose the egg selection action. So going down into the list order of the actions, this player has an egg in reserve. They will use that egg and place it on one of the heat cards. The other player will choose a new card from the selection and they will choose this one. The next action is the crystal selection. This player has a crystal in reserve. They've decided to use that one on an egg because they're able to place one there. The other player does not have a silver crystal to go with their silver egg available, so they'll just choose one of the other crystals and put it into their reserve. There are no other actions to perform. No other eggs have hatched. That ends that turn, so we will replenish the crystal supply and the egg selection supply there. We've now jumped ahead to an endgame scenario. There are no more eggs left in the supply. This will trigger the final round of the game. This is the first player. They will choose the heating egg option. The other player will choose the special order option. As this player has the placement there first, they can heat up to a total of 4. They only need 1 in this case, so they'll take that action. The other player has a total of 2 that they can use to heat their egg. They will do that here. The final action here is to take a special order. This player will take the special order and place it in their scoring pile. We check which eggs have hatched. Here we have one from this player, and here we have one from this player. Now we reach the end of the game and we'll check the scores. Here's an example of endgame scoring. This player has ended up with 3 special order cards and these 6 eggs. Each egg can only be applied to one special order, and that's up to the player to choose how to allocate those. Here we have 2 red eggs for this special order here, a red, a silver and a gold for this special order. We have 1 silver egg left over, which is not enough to complete this special order, so this one is incomplete. We now add up the total of the completed orders. Here we have 2 plus 6 is 8, plus the total of all the egg individual scores. We have 5 plus 3, 8, plus another 16, plus 3, added on to the 8 for the special orders gives a total of 35. An incomplete special order counts as -1, so we have a total score of 34. Here's another example of scoring. In this case, both of the special orders have been completed with the 3 gold eggs here and the 3 silver eggs here. Special order total is 9 plus 7, 16. We have gold eggs which total 22 and silver eggs which total 12. The total score for this player will be 50.